Okay, so have you ever been out somewhere and seen a river that just poof, vanishes? It's wild. Today, we're going to dive into some of the absolute strangest landscapes on our planet. I'm talking about places where the ground can literally swallow a river whole, revealing these incredible hidden worlds right beneath our feet. I mean, seriously, it's a real geological mystery, isn't it? Imagine you're just walking along, following a stream, and then, bam, it just disappears, straight into the ground. So, where does all that water even go? What on earth is happening down there?
Well, what you're looking at here is exactly that. It's a disappearing stream, and it's plunging right into an opening in the earth. Now, it's not magic, even though it kind of looks like it. This is basically a gateway, a doorway to this huge hidden network underground. And yeah, this whole puzzle, it has a name.
And that name is karst topography. So, what is it? Think of it as a landscape that's been sculpted, but not by something obvious like wind or ice. No, the artist here is much slower, much more patient. It's water. Just plain old water, chemically dissolving solid rock over thousands, sometimes millions of years. And here's a little fun fact for you. The name karst actually comes from a region in the former Yugoslavia, right there on the Adriatic coast. It's a place where this kind of beautiful, almost bizarre landscape is just everywhere. You can't miss it.
All right, so let's start our journey right where the water does, on the surface. What does it actually take to create one of these karst landscapes? What are the key ingredients?
Well, it really all boils down to one main thing. You need a massive area of water-soluble rock. We're talking about stuff like limestone, right there at the surface, exposed to all the elements. If you don't have that, well, none of this magic can happen.
Okay, so one of the most famous features, and one you've probably heard of, is the sinkhole. What happens is rainwater finds a little weak spot in that limestone and it just starts seeping in, slowly dissolving the rock. And over time, that creates a depression that can be, just a few feet across or hundreds of feet deep. It's pretty incredible.
Then you have another really cool feature called a limestone pavement. Just look at this. It's where rainwater has literally etched these deep grooves into the bare rock, leaving behind these flat-topped blocks. It almost looks like some kind of ancient tiled floor, but nope, it's all carved by nature.
So what happens when these things keep growing? Well, when you get a bunch of sinkholes expanding and then merging together, they create something even bigger. It's called a uvula, or a valley sink. Basically, it's this huge, long trench carved right into the landscape.
But here's the thing, the surface is really only half the story. The truly spectacular stuff, the real action in a karst landscape, it's all happening underground. So it's time. Let's follow that disappearing stream.
And this is where it all clicks into place. See, those sinkholes, those disappearing streams up on the surface, they're just the entry points. They're feeding all that water into this gigantic, three-dimensional labyrinth of caves and channels that's been carved out of solid rock, deep underground. The process itself sounds simple, but it's so powerful. When rain falls, it picks up carbon dioxide from the air, and that makes it a really weak acid. But that slightly acidic water, it seeps into tiny cracks in the limestone, and just over eons and eons of time, that gentle dissolving action widens those cracks into the huge caves we can explore today.
But, the water doesn't just take things away. It also gives back. After the caves are formed, a totally new creative process kicks off. And it's one that turns these dark, empty voids into these unbelievable galleries of natural art.
So here's how it works. That same water that dissolved the limestone to get into the cave, well, now it's packed full of minerals. So as it drips from the cave's ceiling, it leaves behind these teeny tiny mineral deposits, drip after drip, for centuries on end. The patience of nature is just astounding.
And this slow dripping process creates two of the most famous cave features. First, you have stalactites, which hold on tight to the ceiling, growing down like these incredible stone icicles. And then on the floor below, you have stalagmites, which grow upwards because they might just reach the ceiling one day. It's a super simple trick to remember which is which.
And every now and then, after thousands and thousands of years of this patient, slow growth, a stalactite from the ceiling and a stalagmite from the floor will finally meet in the middle. They fuse together, and they form this single, absolutely breathtaking column, or pillar, that connects the floor to the ceiling. Just amazing.
Now, you might be thinking these kinds of landscapes are just, rare little oddities, but they're actually scattered all over the globe. They're a really significant part of our planet's geology. I mean, think about the famous water-filled sinkholes, the cenotes, in Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. Those were sacred to the ancient Maya. Or the huge cave systems under Florida, or the totally dramatic stone forest you can see in China. Karst is, for sure, a global phenomenon.
And just to give you a sense of the sheer scale we're talking about, take a look at the Zhaozhe Tianking in China. It is the world's largest sinkhole. It plunges over 2,100 feet deep. It's just this colossal testament to the slow but absolutely relentless power of water.
And you know, that really brings us to a final thought here. These incredibly intricate, fragile worlds, both on the surface and underground, they took an almost unimaginable amount of time to form. They're literally a record of our planet's history, written in stone and water. So I guess the question we're left with is, what's our role in all this? What will it take to protect and preserve these silent, beautiful worlds for the future?